What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. It's Chris here, and today we are going to be going over the high risk, high reward player targets for you guys. The very early edition. We'll do a little update kind of like mid-season and probably like later towards fantasy hockey playoffs, but we wanted to get you out a nice little early season video here for you guys. So you guys have been killing with the support lately. Mike did this in the last video. If you guys can hit 200 likes on this video, that would be absolutely insane support. So please make sure you're hitting that like button as well as subscribing for more fantasy hockey content coming to you guys soon. I want to know, like, we're still early in the season, guys, but let me know in the comments down below what you think is wrong with the Sens right now. They had a lot of hype around their team, you know, made a lot of big moves, and they just haven't really gotten out of the gate too much or too hot as of late. So I personally think it's their defense and their goaltending just being incredibly inconsistent and incredibly thin. But I want to hear what you guys think of the Sens in the comments down below, so let me know. As well as, guys, make sure if you have any fantasy hockey questions, topics for us to cover in future videos, or topics for us to cover in podcasts, make sure that you're joining our Discord. We got a huge community there, and you can guys drop any questions that you want. Mike and I will be able to answer any. Don's active on there as well as some of the other mods and FP staff. So please make sure that if you have any questions to hop on over to our Discord. The link will be in the description down below. Speaking of links in the description, we have our Movember campaign going on right now. Mine is slowly coming in. I don't know if you guys can see it even. Guys, we're a week in, okay? It's going to get better, all right? Cut me a little bit of slack here. We're only a week in. But if you guys want to donate to an incredible cause that's very, very near and dear to Mike and I's heart, there will be a link in the description down below. We're going to be matching up to $500 in donations for you guys. So we're going to try and raise around $1,000. If we can hit that, that would be unbelievable, guys. Also, make sure you're following us on Twitter for all of the fantasy hockey updates. Don just posted a couple tweets this morning highlighting some of the hot waiver wire players, whether they're forwards and defensemen, as well as we got premium fantasy hockey options for you guys in our Patreon, which include our player projections and our trade analyzer, as well as a couple other premium features. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested. And if you're interested in signing up for Prize Picks, make sure that you use code PUCK. They will match your donation up to $100, guys. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you're using code PUCK. That really helps us out. Thank you. Let's get into the video. First guy up, Kyle Connor. And this is probably like one of the safer picks, I think, in my opinion, out of the guys that are on this list, just given the fact that he's got currently 7 points in 11 games, 3 of which are on the power play with 41 shots and 12 hits. His shooting percentage is close to 5%, and no Nikolai Ehlers. I almost called them Nikolai Ehlers. That's a tongue twister right there. No Nikolai Ehlers in the lineup. They have Mason Appleton up there on that top line right wing with Mark Scheifele at center. So that, I believe, has kind of impacted Connor's production in terms of his goal scoring, at least. The Jets are also 25th in the NHL for expected goals for, which is not good. There's not a lot of goal scoring coming out of Winnipeg. And guys, some positives are like Connor's a career 15% shooter. Like, this is to expected from a guy that had 50 goals last season. And just, you know, he's definitely going through a little bit of a struggle right now, and not having Ehlers on that line definitely impacts his goal scoring ability. But he's currently 10th in the NHL in expected goals for, so he's doing, you know, a decent job of getting chances. So again, good positives for you guys if you guys are targeting this player. And he's still shooting a puck at an incredibly high rate, which is around like 10.7 shots per 60, which is, again, in the upper echelon of the NHL. He's a really high volume shooter, usually gets around like 300 shots a game. So Kyle Connor, I think, you know, the risk is just the fact that, like, no Ehlers on that top line. We don't know when he's expected to return, and the Jets just don't seem to be scoring at all. But from a guy that scored 50 last year, I think Connor's a really good option for you guys to definitely target. Now, this is an interesting one because there was after coming off just a ridiculous year last year, guys, like most assists from a left winger in NHL history, Jonathan Huberdeau was in conversation for the Hart last year as well when he was on Florida. And then just the crazy offseason that ended up landing him in Calgary. 10 games played so far. He's got 1 goal, 3 assists, which 3 of which are on the power play. Only 19 shots and 12 hits. Shooting around that 5% mark again. The biggest concern with me with Huberdeau is he's seeing less than 17 minutes time on ice right now over the 10 games that he's played, which, you know, Daryl Sutter, like, if he doesn't like the way a player's going, he will not play you. That's just his style of coaching. And he's definitely expressed his concern with Huberdeau as of late. He's also got a 1.9 expected goals for, which is 242nd in the NHL, which is not ideal either. And he's got 0 points his last 5 games. So there's a bit of concern and a bit of risk here with Huberdeau. Just the fact that, as good a season as he had last year, that's not a guarantee that he's going to have a good season this year, especially on a new team and a team that he's never played on any other team other than Florida. So obviously that's a big adjustment for him. But Huberdeau is a over 15% career shooter over the past 3 years when he was in Florida. And so guys, expect his goal scoring total to definitely come up. Hopefully this isn't just a complete off year for him, but you do run a risk of that. I think there's more risk here than than Connor, for example, just because of the fact that he's in a completely new environment surrounded by completely different players. But Huberdeau has not been below a point per game since 2017, guys. So that's really, really good sample there as well. I'm personally trying to go out and get Jonathan Huberdeau right now. If even in 10-team leagues, like 8-team leagues, like you see a guy like this that's struggling that had, 100 points last season, like this is a guy that you are targeting absolutely 100%. I don't care how much risk is involved in there. I think that's a league winner if you can get him. Just myself personally, I'm obviously a big fan of Huberdeau and just how incredibly talented he is from a playmaking standpoint. I think he just needs a little bit of time to kind of adjust with his new team. Maybe they switch the line, maybe they mix the lines a little bit. Maybe they throw Lindholm on right wing and they just stack the top line like they did last year, where they go Huberdeau, Kadri, Lindholm, and just kind of go out from there. Personally, I hope that Mangiapane gets on that top line because I think that will definitely help. I think he has more of a goal-scoring touch than, say, Toffoli does. Moving on, we have Moritz Seder of the Detroit Red Wings. In 12 games, he has only 5 assists, 2 of which are on the power play with 23 shots, 29 hits. His slow start definitely hurts his value, guys, but the biggest thing with Seder, even though he's had, even if he has 0 points in the last 4 games, this is a good opportunity for you to target Seder, but again, there is some risk involved here. It's very much a possibility that, Seder just had a really good year last year from a production standpoint. And, it's very possible that, people are just playing against him differently now, knowing how good of a threat he is offensively. There's people on Detroit like Lucas Raymond is another good example. The fact that he's in his sophomore year now, he's getting kind of tightened down on from a defensive standpoint as well, and he hasn't been close to his regular production. So you can definitely have that kind of mindset with Seder if he was a 1 year, just a really good rookie season for him. But the biggest thing with Seder, and Mike and I talked about this on the podcast, is he's just a peripherals machine. He shoots, he blocks, he hits. He's got 30 blocks in the years as well, guys. So if you guys are counting blocks in your guys' league, this guy's an absolute stud in every peripheral category, which is why you draft him, which is why you drafted him so high as well. And when you draft a player that super early in your guys' drafts, one of your first couple defensemen potentially, and he's not producing at the rate that you expected him to, it's frustrating. And I think that you guys can definitely use that as leverage when negotiating with people trying to pick up Seder. Again, there's a little bit of risk involved there, but he is back on power play 1, which is literally my only concern with this guy was they moved him off power play 1 and now he's back. They moved Hronek back to power play 2. So I'm definitely targeting Seder in my leagues as well, guys. I just believe that he's that good of a player. Alex DeBrincat. Oh boy, Mike's going to be pissed. Mike is not a huge DeBrincat fan. I'm a very big DeBrincat fan. And he's kind of come out of the gate slow. 11 games played, 2 goals, 7 assists, 3 of which are on the power play. 49 shots and 18 hits, guys. Number one, he's a right winger, and right wingers are just very, very valuable because of the position scarcity. But his shooting percentage is very, very low right now at 4.1%. He's currently on line 2, which I'll kind of touch on in a little bit, power play 2 as well. And no Josh Norris for a while. However, there is some good news on that front. They just announced today that he will not require surgery, but he will be reevaluated in January. So it's still a long-term injury for Norris, but it's likely that he will see some time towards the end of the regular season. I don't know exactly when, but keep your eyes on Norris as well. And I think just with DeBrincat, line 2 is kind of a difficult spot for him just because, number one, they've been juggling that top 6 like crazy. Some games Stützle is up on the top line, other games he's back on line 2. They currently have Derek Brassard at centering that second line right now, which I'm not a huge fan of. They've moved Giroux up on the top line now, and it's now Batherson that's on the second line with DeBrincat. And I think that, just all this juggling, it's difficult for new players to get accustomed to playing with people, first of all. Second of all, he's an incredible talent. Like, he's 27th in the league in expected goals for, which is crazy high. I think that's higher than McDavid, actually. 15% career shooting percentage means that he's just shooting well below his career average, and he's 22nd in the league in shot attempts, so he's still giving you value there. As well, he's got 18 hits, guys. Like, he's bringing you value in other areas as well, even though his goal scoring is not up to par right now. And 7 assists is quite a bit as well, too. I think like 9 points in 11 games. But like, you draft DeBrincat expecting him to be like a 35 to 40 goal scorer, which like I believe he is. And again, same thing that I talked about during the intro. Like, I think the Sens had a bunch of hype around them, and they've gotten off to a really, really rough start, and that's really impacted players' confidence and stuff like that. So I think DeBrincat will eventually come back to his career average shooting percentage, which is around 15, which means he should be potting the puck in the back of the net more frequently. And so, guys, like, I think obviously there's risk here. Like, DeBrincat, this is the first time we've seen DeBrincat without Patrick Kane on his line, which is obviously like a world talent when it comes to playmaking. And so I'm still on the DeBrincat train. I believe that there, partially due to the fact that he scored so frequently, was because of Kane. But at the same time, like, when you're a talented goal scorer, you do it consistently, and DeBrincat's done it consistently in his career. So I'm a huge DeBrincat fan. And moving on to our last player, we have Aaron Ekblad. This is a little premature, but I wanted to include Ekblad just because of the fact that, like, the injuries. The injuries are always the biggest concern with this guy. He hasn't played over 70 games in the past 3 seasons, which is like, that's a stat right there. He just always seems to be in injury trouble, and he's injured again to start the season as well. We don't know when he's returning. I don't have a timeline for you guys. I really don't have too much information on it as well. I haven't heard any rumblings or anything like that. Like, maybe you guys have heard some rumors or articles of when he's expected to be back, but I wasn't able to find anything prior to doing this video. And so, you know, again, like, you're able to target Ekblad for cheap right now, but you don't know when his return is going to be. It could be 3 weeks. It could be 3 months. Like, you don't really know how close he is to returning. But when he is in the lineup, he's close to a point per game, guys, which is a huge, huge value. And Florida is, you know, one of the best expected goals teams in the National Hockey League currently. He's got their 3rd currently in expected goals for percentage and expected goals for. So they're definitely in that area of a high scoring team, which they were last year as well. And there are guys that are struggling on that team too, which I expect to kind of turn their seasons around. Sam Bennett's one that comes to my mind, as well as Sam Reinhart, have both kind of been struggling offensively this year. So, guys, Ekblad obviously comes with a little bit of risk because of his injury. You don't know how long he's going to be out for, but if you guys get more information on him, or you just feel like he's a good long-term play, I definitely recommend getting Ekblad, because when he's healthy, he's a point per game defenseman and brings you guys a lot of value. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought of the video. Was I super off on anybody, or do you guys like the players that I've kind of decided for high risk, high reward? Obviously, some are more high risk and high reward than others, but just a little early season video that we wanted to get you guys, because there is a lot of opportunity here to grab some good players for cheap, but they, again, do present a little bit of risk. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like on the video. If we can hit 200 likes on this video, that'd be unbelievable, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.